Hello, you fine folks. I hope you're doing well. I hope that things are starting to click a little bit, and I hope the rest of your term is opening up to be kind of okay. For some of you all, if you're still finishing up some Module 1 tasks, that's okay. That's fine. All I'm doing here is providing a small video that goes alongside the lecture to make sure that you all, as we're going through the motions of downloading Jamovi, making sure you have the GSS 2012 and 2018 datasets saved, and I would recommend to save them into a specific folder for your use. For me, I have it in my SOS 232 folder under a subfolder of data, and I downloaded them all together. And doing so, I think it makes it easier for me to analyze the information because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. I don't want to accidentally put it in a wrong folder. And for me, I am a little bit disorganized when I don't make sure that I stay organized. It's either one side or the other. I'm doomed. If you all feel that way, I recommend put those things in that folder so everything makes sense. But I'm going to be doing this alongside what we call problem zero. So whenever I post homeworks for the next few modules, you're going to have problems, maybe 1 through 5, 1 through 4, 1 through 6, something like that. But we're also going to have, and this is the PDF that is the real version, I am going to provide you with this breakdown of a practice problem of what you should be able to pull from Jamovi with our lesson that I'm about to do right now. So for you all, as you're checking your work, doing the video, it's good to be able to have the end results that you can see and see, like, this is what Professor Sparks is looking for. This is what I'm aiming to get. And if I don't have it, then that's okay. I'm going to go back to the video, check on things, and see what did I miss, because we're human. We miss things. It's fine. But it gives you a chance to see kind of the descriptive stuff that you all should be good to go with going forward. And so what it's going to be is this sort of practice problem. So I'm going to do a problem zero in a sort of tutorial video for you all so that you all can be able to do it again for next couple of problems, the next couple of problems, and blog problems, and so on, and get comfortable with this stuff. And I think you can. I have faith in y'all. All right. And that being said, let's try these things. So based on the review, the video lecture and how to video, run descriptive statistics on the variable TV hours. So this is the number of hours of television using GSS data 2012, include the histogram density plot and the box plot for this data. If you're not sure about histogram density plots or box plots or some of the descriptive statistics, make sure that you go through and do the lecture videos, read through the slides. It's a lot, but you got this. We have a few days. You can do it. But it gives you a chance to get comfortable with what we're supposed to be doing. And note, this is a demonstration practice to actually do the Jamovi. If you are going to be doing something else, so like if you are wanting to do the write-up part, which is going to be problems 2 and problem 4 on this homework, well, that's a little bit different. What you're going to need there is the writing tips that I'm going to be posting alongside in this module that talks about how to write up these things and the same stuff that I'll actually talk about that I'm actually talking about in the lectures. So in module 2 lecture, we'll talk about writing, but here is a good summary so you all remember what you're supposed to be putting in each step. All right. So breaking this down, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and ideally you all have downloaded and installed Jamovi. You're good. You've downloaded your fantastic data sets. And so we can go ahead and double click, open this thing up. And I see my starting Jamovi sign working, running. Knock on wood, it'll get done quickly. And it should be something that we can, as it takes a little bit, so startup is slow. What can cause this? Probably because I have a lot of windows open. Um, but here we go. That's the ticket. And so we can go through all this stuff as it's running through. I don't know why that's. There we go. I can now go through and do the steps that I need to do in order to perform well on this task. I'll also be providing a short sort of how-to guide, giving step-by-steps in sort of a PDF that'll go alongside this video. So if you want a quick check of things, but I think the video is a little bit better because I can chat with you all, have a small conversation. Yes, it's one-sided, but at the same time, you can actually hear my voice, hear all these things go into the motions and whatnot. And one of the things I'm going to break down is that if I were to go to variables, it lists these variables here. Now, some of them have like the little circles and everything. If they have the circles, these are going to be more considered to be qualitative in nature. And as you can tell, a lot of the questions are going to be qualitative in nature. There aren't a lot that look like they have the ruler. If there's a ruler involved, those ones will be considered or could be analyzed as numerical in nature. As I said in the lecture video, there's not going to be a lot of variables in the GSS that have specifically numerical. Something like age fits, but not many others. So in picking and choosing for your blog post this week, make sure that you can choose a couple that you think are useful. Go ahead and take those. If you do see them, go ahead and look them up in the mnemonic in the GSS that you just did for last module and check to see if this question is actually interesting to you. Now, let's go through it. Let's go through and we'll do analyses. And all we're doing right now is just exploration. In doing this exploration, we can go ahead and get started with things like descriptive, scatter plot, Pareto chart. This stuff won't be too useful right now. We'll actually cover scatter plots near the end in module 6. But for right now, we're just going to go into the descriptive statistics. And this is what makes Jamovi kind of nice because what you see here, this thing that just formed, this is basically Jamovi saying, all right, we're ready to roll. This is a descriptive statistics that we want you to analyze, that you want us to analyze. And once you start plugging in variables and stuff, we're going to actually, it's going to fill in all these pieces of the puzzle for you. There's no analyzing with a TI-83 calculator or doing things by hand. You just have to make sure you can plug the correct values into the correct variables to get your correct results. Now I can go ahead and search, and I'm going to search for TV. I can search for TV hours, or I can just scroll down. Either way should work. And as I scroll down, one of the things that is useful is actually looking for the ruler and this sort of sea of circles and A's. It's supposed to be sort of these A's suggesting categories maybe. But this one says TV hours. And I found the variable I want to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click this arrow. This right arrow that goes to variables. Seems pretty duh, but a worst case scenario, this is probably very new for most folks. Let's make sure we're good to go by clicking the variables. Once I did that, it just gave me a bunch of values. It gave me the sample size, which is n. We got the number that are missing, 676. We got the average and the mean with the median, standard deviation, a minimum and maximum. And this is great for a start. But we want more. So what's nice is that once we've hit this piece of the puzzle, we can actually go through the motions and expand on it. By clicking the statistics key tab thing, it actually brings it down to incorporate what else do we want in our descriptives sort of file. Now let's see. I have here in missing mean, median, standard deviation, minimum, maximum. And in the homework, it actually gave a good reminder. Oh, these are the things I need to make sure I have. So I mean, make sure I do it. Oh, I have the mode. I don't think I had that. And I have these 25th, 50th, and 75th percentiles. Okay. I'm missing those. So I think, oh, central tendency. It looks like the mode, easy, check mark. Once I hit check, watch the descriptives table. It's just going to expand magically. Boom. And added the extra line, and now we have the mode as well. Now, the next piece of the puzzle is we need to get the percentiles. And actually, I can go ahead. It already gives us the percentiles for 25, 50, and 75. It's automatic because those are very typical. The quartiles are the very typical ones to pick up because box plots, 5-number summaries, things like that. That's what we do. And once I've clicked on the percentiles, it gives me 25th, 50th, 75th. And boom, we have our Q1, we have our Q2. Also, that's our median. 50 percentile is actually just the median. That is the definition of the median, is the 50th percentile. And then Q3, which is the 75th percentile. Well, let's say, oops, I deleted it on accident. It disappeared. Okay, it's a good reminder. You can fix it by just putting 25, comma, 50, comma, 75. And if you wanted other ones for some reason, maybe you want to do 85th or 99 or something, you could do that too and add on to it. But it'll add on once you click outside of this little box. That's when it updates. All right. And that's all you need to get the descriptives. And so to get the descriptive statistics, you could do a couple things. One, you could do what all the new hip people are doing and doing like a screenshot or capture. And I could go ahead and I could screen capture something like this as an image, and I could paste this in there pretty easily. That's fine. For those who may not be as savvy with screen capturing, or usually it's the print screen command on your laptop. If you don't have it, or you're not sure what the keys or anything for it are, that's fine. Jamovi doesn't need it. In fact, it is so user friendly that I can go ahead and click it. And once I click this thing, you see like the whole sort of thing becomes a box. In fact, I can right click it, or if you're like with Macs or something, it's like the double click, the side click. And I can go ahead and I can just copy this thing, copy this table, the copy been done. And from there, I can go ahead, I can paste it. Now this looks a little bit weird. I don't necessarily like this necessarily. I would like you to fix that. And instead, so maybe something like paste options. If you were to go to keep source formatting, that's actually a good hint for you all if you haven't seen that before. If you're trying to copy paste something from an original source and you're trying to keep all the nice format, if you go to keep source formatting, it should do what it's told and it keeps the source formatting for us. We'll accept both, but ideally this is nicer. Or if you want to do the screen capture, that's fine. It makes this visual, this sort of list, much easier on the eye to read through. Now, that gives us the descriptives. It gives us all the descriptive statistics that we need, and we kind of covered in our Module 2 lesson. And then it asks us to do the histogram density plot as well as the box plot. That's not bad either. Because beyond the statistics, we can actually go to plots. In plots, histogram, and also click density, and voila, it becomes that histogram density plot I was talking about. And this is nice because it gives us not only the histogram where you can see with the bars, but we also get this sort of density plot that kind of tries to fit the histogram to look like some sort of distribution. This pattern of data that we saw and we talked about before to get a good idea of the shape where the data seems to be piled into, and skewedness, which it looks very skewed to the right, or positively skewed because the mean is probably higher than the median. And look, mean is 309, median's 2. Yeah, I think it is. We can also do the box plot. We're going to click on box plot. And if we click on the box plot, this isn't wrong, but let me be real with you all. It has label outliers, and this gets a little bit more confusing. Remember what I said? A good graph doesn't have a lot of ink. What I mean by ink means we want to get rid of some of the chart junk, the extra pieces here. I have in a survey that has looks like 1,200, 1,300 observations. I have no idea who these observations are, so I don't actually care which observations they would be. Now, if I were trying to pinpoint by looking through the data and reading through on a case by case basis, yeah, this might be useful. But if I'm trying to present this stuff, maybe not so much. And because of that, I'm going to check, not check, but actually uncheck the label outliers command. And once I've done that, all those pesky observation numbers go away and it just looks like a box plot. And it does look like this whisker, the top whisker is way much larger than the bottom one. And in fact, the top rectangle is larger than the bottom rectangle. This also looks like it's positively skewed or skewed to the right. So these two things should coincide, and they do. And we got a bunch of potential outliers here. I think if we look at this, it looks like we don't expect people to watch anything less than 0 hours because you're just not watching TV. And most people seem to be watching no more than 8. And once you get beyond 8, it's kind of like, well, there's some avid TV watchers. There must have been a binging marathon. What's it? What's a TV show? I think Stranger Things is coming on at the end of the semester. So for folks who are interested in that stuff, there might be a binging marathon for that. But typically, these are the individuals that are a little bit outside of the general pattern of people. Now, if I want to get these graphs onto the homework or onto my discussion board posts, I can also do the same thing I did before. Click on one of the values, hit copy, and I can go to work, and I'm going to do paste. There we go. Now, this is still fine. If you were to turn it in this way, I still give you credit. I'm gonna do some stuff, some quick housekeeping to make it look nicer, because I like fixing things up a little bit, make it more presentable. And I'm gonna shrink it a little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to go to, it says text wrapping, it's tight and above. And it actually lets me then move this stuff over and rearrange, shrink a little bit, puts it all on one little image, and that's nice. I can visualize this stuff all together. Again, if you don't do it, no harm, no foul. But this is nice to see by copying these links and doing this again. Go ahead, text wrapping, shrink a little bit, put it in there, and boom. I now have all the stuff on this visual, which looks pretty darn close to what I have here. Maybe all I did was click on the layout options, go to height, and yeah, it provides us with all the information you need. And that's all you got to do in terms of the actual Jamovi computation stuff. You still have to write things. Make sure to go to the rules of writing and practice writing stuff. And we'll talk about it a little bit. If you watch the lecture videos, you've seen that. And that'll get you prepared for the blog posts and the homework assignments. But the Jamovi, that's all you got to do. It's not a lot. And I think you can do it. Just make sure you check on the correct boxes. Make sure you have all those things listed there. And I recommend to turn off the labels for the outliers. Like I said here, go ahead and turn off the label outliers because it makes this a lot nicer. And histogram density chart, make sure you do both of them to have them put on. And that's it. All right. Looking forward for next week and have a good one, folks.